Hello viewers and welcome to a brand new episode of Anzenmezzeron Hell Games, where I will showcase actual plays of Magna Gothica Maleghast. In this episode, Goregrinders vs CARCASS, with Ruin have found you at last as Goregrinders and Valerie as CARCASS. Once again, we are doing this in Tabletop Simulator, on another beautiful map created by Bullfroggy. It's a set of bridges over an icky sickly looking green swamp. Do not step in it. The map, other than the trees at the corners and these giant vents, are completely open, and falling into the swamp leaves you extra vulnerable to attack from above and slow you down too. Luckily, this map has a gimmick, of boats that give anyone on it free movement, which in Maleghast is defined as movement that cannot be reduced by any means, so you can use them to bypass the bridge to get around enemy formation. I also, for the convenience of recording matches, have discovered that Tabletop Simulator has preset camera function, so now I can take precise good angles all the time instead of trying to wrangle the camera constantly, and you guys should have less headache trying to figure out which side of the map is which. Now, let's talk about the black masses, and over on the Goregrinders side, Ruin has 4 of the classic blade warheads, which on 0 health, gain retaliation, meaning whether you ignore them or not, these warheads will be very painful, unless you have physical armor to just fully ignore them. Other than that, there's 2 Pain Ghoul with Stim Haze, which is not very useful in this match because CARCASS barely uses Curse, and the Warlord himself with Furious Roar to get everyone moving and Hell Rider Kick to get moving himself. Also, Devil Impact, the 6 soul super ability that can absolutely send something straight to hell in one go. On the CARCASS side, Valerie has 4 gun whites with Brace, Ammo Goblin with Hot Chamber, none of the other upgrades is as good as this one, Enforcer with Bulwark, an Aegis weapon, and Operator herself with Bone Wall to use units as cover and gain more range from it, and LV4 Living Cannon, just a classic all the guns CARCASS turtle build. Also, one more thing, I did a little goof in this episode when recording it because I forgot to set OBS back to recording the game instead of the whole screen, which means when I alt-tab to check on things, the program isn't recording the game, so if some parts look suspiciously edited, you know why. Anyway, with both sides introduced, let's roll for initiative and start the match. And Ruin got it, choosing to go for the bottom side of the map, and Valerie got the other side. Round 1 begins with the Warlord immediately furiously roars and gets everyone moving forward and gaining 1 speed, probably one of the best opening move the Goregrinders can do, but you also essentially take an act ability that you probably gonna use exactly once and that's it. The Warlord then runs around in circle to not get blamed by his own Berserk token. The Operator also gets activated, stays in place, and uses akimbo against the warheads directly in front, with Bone Wall to increase the range. 1 warhead got reduced to 0 health, but it survived because of Blood Rage because of course, and nothing else gets hit. Valerie didn't really have good luck with the dice when it comes to rolling for effect in this match. The dying warhead moves onto the boat and charges through the Aegis for 1 damage thanks to strength, and another moves towards the Enforcer and just slashes, dealing no damage to the Enforcer due to physical armor but 1 to the nearby gunning. Said warhead then get its skull cracked by the Enforcer, pushing it back, instead of, immediately dying like most thralls would. One of the Pain Ghouls then moves up and cauterizes the Operator for 1 singular damage, which is a support act ability but it can still be used to hurt something. The gun whites then draw their guns, one shot the already 0 health warhead but then gets killed by retaliation due to being on 1 health, the other on the left side shot at the approaching Pain Ghoul instead. The other Pain Ghoul then moves onto the other boat and uses Pain Frenzy on the nearest warheads, giving it 2 Berserk tokens. The other 2 gun whites move up and shot at the nearby warheads, 1 goes down, but not before retaliating back for 1 damage. Valerie also tried to use double tap here to bring the berserking warhead's health down, but the wording of the soul ability only really allows it if it's the Operator that's doing the damage. Another pair of warheads get activated, the berserking warhead immediately charges into the enemy formation, cutting 1 gun white to 1 health, then it berserks, but only really damages the Ammo Goblin. The other warhead then moves towards some gun whites and cuts both down in a single turn. The Aegis weapon, seeing the incoming warhead and weakened wall from the Berserk, sends a mortar down onto the vent and blows it up, damaging both the Ammo Goblin and the warhead, reducing it to 0 health. The last pair of warheads get moving, 1 moves towards the last gun white and slashes at it, the other just double moves to put pressure on the other flank. Seeing no option left, the Ammo Goblin then obliterates itself, blowing up 1 of the warheads to doom and other gets knocked back with 1 vulnerable token, which honestly doesn't do anything here. However, this does left the CARCASS on a lower head count than the Goregrinders, leaving them quite vulnerable. Round 1 ended, and round 2 began with both sides gaining 1 soul, and both sides have a bucket load of them, One pain ghoul immediately moves back and hooks the entire goddamn Aegis towards it, leaving the operator open. Then the operator moves forward, and try to akimbo the pain ghoul, and remember, it's on 3 health, so if that hits, and add in double tap, that can reduce the pain ghoul to 0 health, and the next hit will kill it, except the operator rolled double 1 so that only glaze for 1 damage. The other pain ghoul rides the boat down the other side and hooks the Aegis again, leaving it slowly falling from the platform. The gun white then just swings its baton at the warhead, knocking it down, and then run the heck away. A pair of warheads on one side of the bridge just charge to the other side, doing no damage because physical armor, and then move behind the operator to block her path. The enforcer prepares to skull crack the pain ghoul and push it into a pit, and then rolls a 1 so it does nothing besides glaze damage. Then it moves back to try to get closer to the operator. The warlord then spent a soul on Hell Rider kick to get to the operator's face immediately and kick her for 1 fire damage, reducing her to 6 health, and then chainblade the Aegis for only 1 fire damage due to physical armor. The Aegis then fires the mortar again, this time at this one warhead, and actually scores a headshot this time, fully depleting its health and damaging a nearby warhead too. The warhead on the boat then charged through carcass mass, damaging Aegis through armor with strength token. Round 2 ended, and round 3 began with both sides gaining more soul. It was honestly a surprise that nobody managed to die in round 2 after that bloodbath in round 1, but this is mostly because most of the Goregrinders unit can't exactly deal damage to the remaining carcass, as most of them has physical armor, and the carcass is very weary of actually killing any Goregrinders unit besides the warlord, because if they reach soul 6, the operator is dead. This is the moment where I would say that's a foreshadowing. As Goregrinders end their turn last, carcass gets to go first, with the operator immediately opening up with akimbo on this pain ghoul with strength, reducing it from 3 to 0 health, and got nothing for effect again. Also, as a correction, the other pain ghoul will also be at 0 health due to strength from hot clip from the previous round. The pain ghoul here then hooks the Aegis towards it and then moves down into the swamp, thereby removing the last possible unit to bodyguard the operator as well as blocking it from reaching the operator. The Aegis then fires the Catechism Devil Cannon at the pain ghoul, vaporizing it, and then moves closer to the operator. The other pain ghoul moves back and hooks the Aegis again. They really do not want the Aegis to get closer to the operator. Next turn, when the gun white's turn began, the operator tries to get away from the warlord by spending a soul on reload slide, and then the gun white shot the nearby warhead dead. This is, however, a bad move, as the Goregrinders start the round with 4 souls and the 2 dead Goregrinders brings it to 6 souls. The warlord activates his turn, takes 1 step towards the operator, and devil impact her from 5 health to oblivion. No roll, immediate effect, and thus, the game ends. So, Blade Warhead when used properly is terrifying. You attack them, you take damage. You don't attack them, you take damage anyway, but only if you don't have physical armor, which Carcass can have a lot of. It's why my Goregrinders build uses Carnifex and Pain Will to get over this problem just in case. But what's really interested me is how Ruin used not 1, but 2 Pain Ghouls to constantly pull units away from the operator to not trigger bodyguard, and it is an effective strategy to pair these 2 with a bunch of Blade Warheads when they found a problem they cannot slash at, and you certainly don't need that much damage. Not to say warheads don't do a lot of damage as thralls, when your warlord can devil impact someone from 6 to oblivion. And getting the 6 souls to do it gets really easy when you have this many warheads around to die for. In almost any fights, your opponent will want to get rid of these warheads even if it's painful to do so just to take less damage in total across a match. Honestly, warheads are probably one of the only thralls that you can fit half of your black mass with and still work just fine. Others cannot be used like this for the most part except for meme build. Though then again, this Goregrinder build is mostly neutered if Carcass has more enforcers like what happened in episode 1, which effectively counter warhead or any unit that can only do 1 physical damage, so it's not a foolproof build. Anyway, think that's all I can talk about this fight. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.